Even if Ryuk is seen, no one would be able to tell which one of us he's following.
Okay, Light, I see you. That's smart as hell. There's no way you'd get caught now.
Found you.
Got it! Welcome back, everyone. Episode 13, Confession. So the episode starts off much like the last, with a phone call from the chief to Light.
Light, there's another message from the second Kira. I'm told it's a video in a journal this time. Anyway, I figured I should tell you.
It's interesting listening to him speak to Light. In this episode and the previous one, he's just sounded so, I don't know, indifferent, or maybe detached is the right word. The reason I want to take note of this is because we've seen the chief be expressive. We've seen him be expressive on multiple occasions. But during this conversation and the one from the previous episode, he just seems so impassive. And I feel like the reason behind that stems from a certain level of angst that he's experiencing as a result of his son being a part of the investigation. I mean, we know he's not exactly thrilled to have him working on this, and I feel like this is being conveyed via his tone, which I actually really like. He knows that at this point he can't change Light's mind, so he's just kind of begrudgingly going along with it.
A journal? What is that idiot up to now? Why can't he just wait?
It's interesting that Light wasn't more freaked out about the mention of a journal. I mean, I know it wouldn't make sense for the second Kidda to send in their notebook, but still, any mention of a journal, diary, a book of any kind, really, coming from the second Kidda would have at least had me somewhat concerned. Anyway, outside of that, this kind of goes back to the previous episode, wherein we saw Misa say that maybe she ought to send another message.
What's taking him so long? Maybe I should just send him another message.
She's clearly impulsive, and eventually that impulsivity is going to cause problems. We transition back to HQ where Light is shown the journal.
2006? These entries are from last year.
I wonder if using dates from the previous year was Misa's attempt at being clever. I mean, I can't really think of any other reason as to why she'd do that, and given her level of intelligence in comparison to the members of the task force, it makes sense that she'd think that this was a smart move. It was actually Kazekame that pointed out that maybe I'm giving Misa too hard a time, because to her credit, she's been relatively smart in how she's handled things. It's more so that she's just really impulsive. I mean, that, and when pitted against the combined intellect of Light and Ryuzaki, she's just Misa. Anyway, Ryuzaki points out a particular line of text that reads,
"Confirmed our Shinigami at the Tokyo Dome,"
which in turn prompts Light to think about how obvious it would be to anyone who sees it that something is supposed to happen at the Tokyo Dome on May 30th. However, Light takes note of a different line of text that reads, "On the 22nd, my friend and I showed off our notebooks in Aoyama." And to be 100% fair to Misa, that was smart. That was really smart, because that's something that only Kidda could pick up on. And honestly, it kind of makes me feel a little bad for talking so much shit about her in the last video. She's really not stupid at all. By including that bit about Shinigami in her original message, and then bringing it up again in this journal entry, it'll potentially cause the police to hyper-focus on the wrong part of the message, while Kidda will know exactly what it means. Anyway, we then head back to Misa's room.
Hey, Rem, I forget. Why can't I see my own lifespan even though I have Shinigami eyes?
Here's something I've always wondered. Does she just always see everything in this weird hue of crimson? Because if so, Ryuk's a fucking liar. This is definitely not like putting on contacts. You're essentially colorblind to everything but the color red. I mean, I guess it isn't a super huge deal if you plan on using the Death Note the way Misa and Light do, but damn, that kinda sucks, to be honest.
Just as we can't see the lifespan of others of our kind, humans who possess a Death Note cannot see each other's lifespan, even with the eyes.
Super interesting piece of information there, and it makes sense. Rim mentions that humans with Shinigami eyes only need to know the lifespan of their victims, and this is also true of the Shinigami themselves. It's none of their business how long other Shinigami have left. I mean, it's not like they could write down the names of other Shinigami and kill them anyway. But yeah, before we switch scenes, I just want to draw attention to this right here, as it'll be kind of important later. Anyway, let's head back to HQ.
What do you think? Is it real?
All I can say for sure is he must be stupid.
I agree. I mean, it's completely obvious he wants to meet Kira at the home game.
Oh, Matsuda. Sweet, simple Matsuda. You really fell for that shit. But to be fair, the chief agrees with his consensus, and I mean, that's exactly what Misa was hoping for. So yeah, despite her impulsivity, this seems to be working in her favor for the moment.
To be honest, it's so stupid. I'm not even sure how to deal with this whole situation anymore.
Y'all ever have these kind of moments where you're faced with something so stupid that you just end up looking like that Jackie Chan meme? And I imagine this has to be especially frustrating for Ryuzaki, given how intelligent and cunning the original Kidda is. I mean, don't get me wrong, we as the audience understand the truth hidden within the truth, but for everyone else, he just seems kinda dumb. Anyway, the group discusses how to approach the situation, with them ultimately settling on releasing the tape and subsequently canceling the game on the 30th. On top of this, they'll also send a response from their kidda stating that they'll meet with the second kidda on the 30th.
However, assuming he's not actually the idiot we think he is, there could be another message hidden in this diary. Let's keep an eye out for people with notebooks in Aoyama and people in clothing stores in Shibuya.
I know I'm a broken record with this, but fucking Ryuzaki, y'all. While the others got distracted by the red herring, Ryuzaki saw through it and thought to focus on the other dates, which was hella smart. It really would have been easy just to focus on the Tokyo Dome entry, which is why I don't blame the others for doing so. But again, Ryuzaki's just built different.
If this phony kid slips up and gets apprehended, at the very least I have to obtain his notebook, and in the worst case, I may end up having to kill everyone there.
What exactly do you mean when you say everyone? How would you kill everyone? I mean, you couldn't do it with the Death Note, and honestly, the more I think about it, the less that makes any sense whatsoever. I mean, let's say that the second kidda was there and you were able to lay eyes on them. It doesn't change the fact that you don't know their name. And let's take it a step further. Let's say everyone on the task force was there. Guess what, dumbass? You don't know any of their names either. They've only ever given you their alias. And to go beyond that, if for some fucking reason you're really saying you'll kill everyone, how the fuck would you be able to get the names of all the people there? Like, you just gonna run up to people and try to steal their wallets one by one? Get the fuck out of here, Light. I'm starting to think that you're the dumb kidda.
I should probably go to Aoyama and Shibuya since I blend in with the crowd there, you know?
Huh, now that's an interesting thing to say. Of course, I had to go look up what these two locations are all about. Starting with Shibuya, it looks like it houses the Takashita Street that I mentioned a couple of videos ago. Not only that, but it's apparently got a lot of nightclubs and love motels, which is, okay, is that your thing, Matsuda? Anyway, Aoyama has its fair share of museums and eateries. Something worth noting, however, is that this place, the Blue Note, which will be mentioned later, is an actual place. I did not know that. So yeah. Anyway, from my understanding, Matsuda seems about right that he would fit in there. Kind of. If nothing else, he'd blend in more so than the chief or Ogi.
I'll go too.
I bet you will, motherfucker. Anyway, shortly after their meeting, Ryuzaki calls Matsuda.
When you two are working together, I want you to keep a close eye on Light the entire time. And please keep this between you and me.
Now, that's interesting. Ryuzaki has been very transparent in regard to investigating Light, so for him to want to keep this a secret says something, I'm just not sure what it is. It's likely one of three things. One, he's unsure of whether or not he can still trust the chief to be impartial now that Light is hanging out with them, but I'm honestly doubting that. Two, it could be that he cares about the chief's health and doesn't want to put more undue stress on him, but I don't really see him coddling him like that. Which leads me to three, he doesn't want Matsuda being influenced by the chief. If Ryuzaki were to have told him this in front of the other members of the task force, excluding Light, obviously, then Matsuda might have been influenced by however the chief reacted. That's not to say that Matsuda doesn't know how to do his job properly, it's just that he's an emotional guy who looks up to the chief as a mentor. So if he saw him react negatively, which he likely would, then it might influence how he investigates Light. That's my theory anyway. Feel free to share yours down in the comments. Anyway, we head back to the Yagami household.
You're back quite late today.
I'm supposed to keep the fact that I'm helping with the Kira investigation a secret. It's because I was hanging out with my girlfriend.
That was an interesting excuse. Luckily for him, it'll be a convenient one too. I love how cute this whole scene is. One of the few slice of life moments in a series riddled with just a lot of bad shit. Anyway, we head upstairs where Light and Ryuk discuss the nature of Shinigami who happen to cross paths in the human world, with Light asking whether or not they're allowed to speak to each other.
As long as I'm attached to a human, I'd say it's against the rules unless I had their permission first. But there's no laws against it either.
That's so interesting. I can't imagine Ryuk being like, hey, my friend's here, can I talk to them? Like, I just can't see Ryuk doing that. But then he did abide by Light's rules when he told him he couldn't eat apples back in episode 8, so I guess it makes sense.
So, does that mean that if this fake kid of Shinigami were to see you, there's a chance he might mention the fact that you're with me?
They probably wouldn't, but it depends on their personality.
That's wild, that it's just contingent on how that Shinigami chooses to live their life. They might not say shit, but they also might dime your ass out real quick. That fucking sucks because it's just a completely unknown variable that you now have to contend with. Not only do you have to worry about the second Kira, but you also have to deal with the fact that their Shinigami might be running their fucking mouth.
On the 22nd, there's a big event going on at a club in Aoyama called the Note Blue. Aoyama, Blue Mountain. Note and blue, it's a code.
And yeah, Misa can play a little 4D chess herself, it seems, because that's a lot.
You might be smarter than I thought.
Literally my thoughts as I'm watching this. Anyway, we transition to the 22nd at Aoyama.
Oh, these are some of my friends from school.
How do you have time to make friends at school on top of studying and playing detective and killing criminals? Like, when do you fucking sleep, bro?
I'm impressed, Light. I doubt that anyone would ever suspect that there was a police detective hanging around with these students.
Fucking hell. Whoever built Light's character went fucking overboard on his charisma stats because this dude charms everyone around him.
With all of us walking together like this, even if Ryuk is seen, no one would be able to tell which one of us he's following.
Okay, Light, I see you. That's smart as hell. There's no way you'd get caught napping.
Found you.
Got him! Okay. While Light may have souped up charisma stats, Misa's got straight up fucking hacks because damn.
Yagami, is it? You're the only one whose lifespan I can't see. He's Kira.
Now that's fucking impressive. Like, round of applause for taking what Rim told you and inferring as to how to use that to your advantage. Like, you took what's supposed to be a negative attribute of having the Shinigami eyes and turned that shit around to your favor. Go the fuck off, Queen, straight up. Hell, even more kudos to her because the fucking blue note was yet another red herring. Light was so focused on that he didn't even consider the fact that the second kid might have been fucking with him. Whew, Misa is bad as hell.
I never thought it would be this easy to find him.
Humble brag, but okay. Also, she's wearing the costume from before. I love that it was hinted at before we saw it implemented. Anyway, the scene ends with Misa leaving the cafe, claiming that she'll find him again later. And welcome back to how to use it. The Death Note will not affect those under 780 days old. Imagine this needing to be a rule at all. Imagine using the Death Note to try and murder a child. Oh shit. Now that I think about it, I guess that would be Light, but we'll get to that later. I don't have much to say about this other than shout out to the Shinigami King for keeping babies safe, I guess. Up next, the Death Note will be rendered useless if the victim's name is misspelled 4 times. Interesting. When it says the Death Note will be rendered useless, does it mean that the damn thing won't work anymore? At all? In perpetuity? That can't be it. I mean, could you imagine a Shinigami going to the king and saying they broke their fucking notebook because they misspelled someone's name 4 fucking times and now they need another one? If anything, I imagine that person just can't be killed with that notebook after that. But I imagine they could still be killed with another one. Hence the reason Light and Misa don't just write and misspell their own name 4 times in their respective notebooks to avoid being killed by each other. Anyway, things pick back up in Misa's room.
Oh, he sure is amazing. Who would have ever thought that Kira would be so young and handsome?
So, 2 things. 1, I love the fact that they're just playing the opening song in the background. How meta. And 2, I wonder what her reaction would have been if he wasn't young and handsome. Like, is she so not superficial that she would just go for Kira regardless of what he looked like? I mean, good on her if that's the case. It's all about what's on the inside, right? Even if what's on the inside are homicidal tendencies. Anyway, we transition back to HQ.
Apparently, Sakura TV has just received another message from the second Kira. It was postmarked on the 23rd.
So right off the bat, that's hella important. If you recall, the 3 dates that were mentioned were the 22nd, the 24th, and the 30th, with the 22nd being the date which Light and Matsuda went to Aoyama.
I'm happy to say that I have found Kira.
Impossible!
And again, it's her impulsivity that's causing the problem here. She shouldn't have said anything until after the 30th. In sending this the day after the 22nd, you kind of fucked him, because that's not something Ryuzaki is just gonna gloss over.
The only possible event that would correspond with this tape being mailed on the 23rd is the entry regarding Aoyama on the 22nd. The only ones from the task force who went to Aoyama are Matsuda and Light Yagami. Is Light really Kira after all?
I find it interesting that Ryuzaki didn't even look at Light. Dude's over there sweating. I feel like that should be an indicator of something, but whatever. At least he noticed it at all, because that's more than what we can say for anyone else right now.
The police need to reach out to the copycat and offer him a deal. We need to negotiate with him to see if we can get Kira's real name.
Now that's not good. That's not good at all. Even Ryuk can understand the severity of this situation.
That's the last thing you wanted to hear, right?
Anyway, we transition to later that evening.
If Kira doesn't yet know your name, it may not be too late for you, provided you are willing to cooperate. Now is your chance to right past wrongs by sharing what you know about Kira. Only you can help us bring his reign of terror to an end.
Whatever you say, Smokey. Needless to say, Misa ain't going for all that, and so she leaves her home to go... Well...
My name is Misa Amane. I just came by to give Light an important notebook he left at school earlier today.
The balls, or what, the ovaries on this chick, or... I don't even know, because, like, is this a fucking brilliant play or the dumbest fucking thing she could have done? It's difficult to tell. Regardless, this is where we are.
Notebook? Could it be?
I wonder what must be going through his mind right now. Like, for the 20 or 30 seconds it takes to get downstairs, what is going through his mind? That's got to be the most confusing, anxiety-inducing, terrifying 30 seconds of his life.
I'm Misa Amane. I thought you might get worried if you saw that message on TV, so I brought this notebook.
A death note.
You really just brought the notebook too? Man, Misa is wild. Like, she's smart for sure, but that impulsivity, bro.
A Shinigami.
Fuck you looking at, bitch?
She's the fake Kira.
I love the way his voice just gets real fucking menacing, like, I'ma fucking kill you. Anyway, Light brings her up to his room, but not before telling his mom and sister.
I already told you about her.
Which is a callback to him mentioning he had a girlfriend earlier. Like I said, it worked out in his favor.
How did you find me?
I knew it. You never made the Shinigami ideal.
It's so interesting to me that she's just forthcoming with everything. I mean, I get it. She trusts him, but fucking hell, you have no reason to at all. At all, Misa. However, I do love the fact that she schools him on how some of this shit works. And I especially love Ryuk saying,
"No kidding. I have to admit, even I wasn't aware of that little detail."
Anyway, Light chastises her, but she makes her case for being useful, claiming that she could kill L for him if he wants. She only asks for one thing in return.
Would you please make me your girlfriend?
Stop it. Get some help.
I mean, really, Misa, you need help. You need God. No, not that one. Fuck it. You need therapy, and lots of it. Anyway, they essentially go back and forth, with Light explaining why this would never work, and Misa rebutting everything with, pretty good counter arguments. When Light says there were surveillance cameras, she shows him pictures of her in a wig. When he mentions the fingerprints found on the tapes, she says that they belong to her friend. However, I do want to comment on that. 3 things, actually. 1, why the fuck did you have your friend help you with this? I know she doesn't actually know what was on the tapes, but like, you could have just worn gloves. The fact that you set her up is weird because when they find out who she is, she's just gonna say that she had no idea what's going on. And the only tapes she worked on were for a prank that she did with her friend. Like, what? As long as she's alive, it's not a matter of if you'll get caught, it's when. Though that does bring me to my second point, which is when she says,
"Why are you doing this to me? If you want me to kill her, just say so and I'll kill her."
Misa, why the fuck are you talking so loud? Do you realize that his fucking mom and sister are downstairs? Anyway, lastly, I want to take note of this image. It speaks to how duplicitous she is. Sitting there, hanging out, eating popsicles and shit, all the while looking out the corner of her eye, knowing that she's using her friend as a scapegoat. I dig it.
If you really still can't trust me, then here. I'll even let you hold on to my death note. If I become a burden to you, then you can just kill me, okay?
You fucking crazy. You sound insane.
Like, certifiably insane, Misa. Just, I don't even have the fucking words for this one, bro. Just, why? Anyway, when questioned as to why she'd go this far, she explains.
Exactly 1 year ago, my parents were killed in a robbery. It happened right in front of me. I wanted that man to pay for what he did. Kira punished him for what he did to my parents. And that's why Kira means everything.
And I imagine that has to give his ego such a hard-on. Like, oh, you really worship me. I fuck with that. It's not that he's not annoyed with her, but I feel like on some strange level, he can respect the hustle, especially considering how meticulous she's been with everything.
Huh?
I understand. I can't be your boyfriend, but I can act like it.
See what I mean? He cares. He actually fucking cares about her. The way he embraced her, the way he didn't lie to her about not having feelings, but instead said that he could pretend, which, I mean, for her is enough. So, like, yeah, this feels like episode 1 Light. Like, maybe he's not all that. oh my gosh, just roll the credits. Anyway, that's the end of this episode. If you liked the video, then consider dropping a like. And if you really liked it, then consider subscribing. Anyway, that's it for this time. Until next week, friends. Peace.